And welcome to another edition of Hey Bobby with VP of the Cleveland Indians, Bobby DiBiasio, with us here on 93.5, 1590 WAKR. Bobby, I have been spouting all week here in Akron about this Major League Baseball schedule. By the way, nice mug there, my friend.
Yeah, your buddies at the Italian American Businessmen's Club in Akron gave that to me.
I have one of those myself, but it's our longest homestand of the year, and it's in the month of April. And I guess, and I know there's a lot of layers to this, and I'm sure you know some of this, but it makes sense to me that Cleveland, Detroit, and Minnesota, and some of those other school teams should have the longest homestand in the months of June, July, and August, and maybe teams like Texas and Houston and Tampa and some of those other ones can have a long homestand, other parts of the season. So what goes in, I guess my question, Mr. DiBiasio, what goes into putting this doggone schedule together?
All right, let's start with the philosophy of Major League Baseball. Ever since 1994, when the three divisional format was created in both leagues, playing within your division was paramount. It's the most important thing in baseball is geographic alignment and playing within your division to win your division and guarantee yourself an automatic spot in October. So therefore we play within our division, each team 18, 19 times a year, which means, for example, the Twins come to Cleveland 3 times during the year, and we go to Minnesota 3 times a year. And that means early, middle, and late. So to start the season playing inside your division, that just means the American League and National League East and the American League and National League Central will at times play in weather that is inclement. So that's just the nature of the beast. Our players understand they'll leave 98 degrees or 80 degrees in Arizona, and they'll open up in a snowstorm in Detroit. It's just the roll of the dice. As far as a 10-game homestand in April, yes, one of the first things we look at when we get a schedule is, okay, how many summer weekends do we get? And when you get your longest homestand is in April, you're like, all right, the luck of the draw just wasn't with us. Last year before, I'm sure it was different. It's not that way every year. People say, well, how come teams from the East or the Central don't go play in domes or the West Coast? Well, it's, again, reverting back to the geographic nature of the business. That's what drives our business. The rivalries within the divisions is what drives our business. And so you need to start the season playing against one another. I mean, that Dodgers Padres series was just remarkable. West of the Mississippi, people were just, a lightning rod to the intensity of that opening season. Now you have 2 warm weather climates playing each other. That's because they're in the same division, and that's the importance that is put on it. So, and the other part is, should fans in the sunshine or the clubs that are in the sunshine, they still have the same issues as anybody else, school not being out. So why should they have, all their home games dominated in April and May, when there's certain inherent things like school not being out and et cetera, to hamper their attendance issues. So in short, it's all about the geographic divisional play is what is paramount to the game.
On the positive side, Bobby, speaking of business in baseball, you found out what on Monday that you're going to be able to increase the attendance from 30 to 40% at Progressive Field starting in May, and tickets are available as we speak. So that's a jump, what, from 11 to 14, 15,000.
Right. 11,500 to 14,000. Yep. Starting on May 3rd at 10 a.m. Fans will be able to go to Indians.com/tickets and begin to buy tickets for the month of May. We're going to go month by month, continue to do that process until we're at 100% capacity. And I would, encourage people to go to Indians.com/tickets on May 3rd for the May games. You certainly can do that right now and get tickets for the Chicago White Sox, the New York Yankees, who are here for 4 coming up this week, and then the Minnesota Twins. We have a huge 10-game homestand. We just talked about our longest. Well, that longest one is pretty exciting with the White Sox, Yankees for 4 and the Twins for 3. So you can jump on tickets for that one. But as we grow, promotions will also start to be a part of our May schedule. The Sugardale Dollar Dogs and Fireworks on May 21st against Minnesota. So if you're a fan of that one, the $2 pregame party in the district presented by Miller Lite and Coors. So those things that people love, the promotional calendar, that will absolutely ignite coming up here in May. So go to Indians.com/tickets and check it all out.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'll be up there Monday night. Looking forward to that game against the Twins on Monday night. Bobby, speaking of Progressive Field, you gave me a tour of Progressive Field. Remember a few years back, we took a whole busload of our listeners, and you were kind enough to give us the behind-the-scenes tour. And I thought maybe you can enlighten us to something at Progressive Field that most of us do not know, whether it's inside, outside, underneath. Just a little story about Progressive Field.
Well, there's a few things maybe that we could share. I don't know if people realize it takes 17 people to operate our scoreboard alone. All the video and the cameraman and the producers and just the ball strikes and all the things that are necessary to entertain our fans the way we like to do it. So that's a massive undertaking, putting on basically a television show for 4 hours on one of the largest scoreboards, I think off the top of my head, 36 feet high, 150 feet long, something like that. One of the more large scoreboards in all of professional baseball. Another one I think people would find interesting is underneath our field. There is a complex drainage system that we can accumulate up to 12 inches of rain per hour, and our field is still playable. So one of the fun things I think fans like to see is when all the puddles start happening, like behind shortstop area, and we get the squeegees out, and all of a sudden there's this whole line where the water goes, and it just goes straight down. And that water is actually recycled and utilized to be part of our sprinkler system. So we recycle rainwater to help us keep that field pristine. We cut the grass every day. Like for this homestand, it'll be cut today and it'll be cut every day of this 10-day homestand. And then when the team's on the road, we cut it every other day. And the rotating blades are how you get the different stripes and different images and things on the field, is how the the blade is changed, the different counterclockwise, clockwise, etc. As you go trying to have some fun images put on your baseball field. But there's a whole lot that goes into our beautiful ballpark. Let me just add one more thing on that, Ray. 2 years ago, 2019, we had a visit from an outlet, a media outlet called Stadium Journey. Stadium Journey is a group that travels to every ballpark, every arena, every stadium across America and ranks them in 7 different categories. Things like accessibility, affordability, food and beverage quality and quantity, atmosphere, return on investment, those types of things. Progressive Field was rated the #1 park in America by
awesome.
Stadium Journey. The only thing we didn't get a 5, excuse me, the only thing we didn't get a 5 on was accessibility, and I think they gave us like a 4, which was odd since we're right off some major highways. And so, but everything else they gave us a 5. And San Francisco, PSC, St. Louis were also among the top 4 right behind us. But we felt real good about the fact that this group that travels everywhere and sees everything really enjoyed how we go about presenting Major League Baseball to our fans.
It is a gem for sure. Hey, Bobby, with Bobby DiBiasio, VP with the Cleveland Indians, brought to you by NECA-IBEW. Bobby, let's talk about a couple of players here this week. And first one I wanted to talk about was Larry Doby. Last week, we celebrated Jackie Robinson Day, first African-American player to play in Major League Baseball, broke the color barrier. Only a few weeks behind was one Larry Doby. And I know you had a relationship with Larry for a number of years. What this gentleman did for the organization and Major League Baseball, I thought maybe you could reflect a little bit on Larry.
Well, thank you for that opportunity. Anytime I have an opportunity to talk about who I considered a very close friend in Mr. Dobby, it's an honor and a privilege to do so. Just to remind people that 11 weeks after Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball, Larry Doby did so in the American League. And one of the things I think that gets overlooked that many people just don't realize, Larry Doby actually integrated more cities in Major League Baseball than Jackie Robinson. If you think back to the 8 cities that were involved in each league, the New York market had 3 teams. So they both integrated that town. St. Louis, Boston, Philly, Chicago. Each one of those cities had 2 teams, an American League team and a National League team. So they both were in those towns. Jackie Robinson also integrated Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, where Larry integrated Cleveland, of course, and Detroit and Washington, D.C. The other thing is you really need to understand the difference in what the men had to endure. And I only say this because of my love for Larry Doby. Branch Rickey, who was a proud Ohio Wesleyan University graduate, just like myself, a battling bishop, when he in 1905, he was a graduate assistant on the baseball staff at Ohio Wesleyan and integrated Ohio Wesleyan's baseball team back in 1905. And it stuck in his mind that someday, as he got into his business of professional baseball, that he would do this. And so He identified, if anybody watched the movie 42, you know the story, that in a long list of players, he identified Jackie, somebody who was a leader in the military, college educated, had been playing on integrated teams in high school and college. And so he brought Jackie to the Dodgers in 1946. So he actually had a spring training in 46 and then went to Montreal for the 40 season, one of the most cosmopolitan cities in North America, to play with his teammates. And then spring training in 47, and he makes the team out of spring training. The difference, Larry Doby's playing, I think, a doubleheader for the Newark Eagles of the Negro League. And he's 22. Jackie Robinson was 27 when he integrated baseball. Larry was 22, 23 years old, playing for the Newark Eagles. And his contract is purchased by Bill Veeck. And he gets on a train and goes to Chicago and walks in our clubhouse, not knowing anybody, and is now in the big leagues. So there was a drum roll for Jackie Robinson. There was none of that for Larry, and thrust into a situation as a young 20-year-old had to be rather daunting. Over my shoulder here, I'm pointing to it. There's a book. Can you see that?
Yes.
It's called Our Team. Phenomenal. Author Luke Eplin had an opportunity to Jeremy Fedor, the Indians archivist, myself, assisted Luke in researching some things for him for this book. It's a phenomenal read. I don't know if you and I have talked about this yet, Ray, but it's a book about Bill Veeck, Bob Feller, Larry Doby, and Satchel Paige, and how those four men in post-World War II America, the city of Cleveland, why Cleveland was willing to embrace integration the way it did, how these four men came together and won a World Series in 1948. Fascinating book. It speaks to what you and I are talking about here today. You know, integration in America, post-World War II America, baseball, the city of Cleveland. Just a fantastic read. I recommend it highly for anybody who loves sports books. It's absolutely terrific and should be on your must-read list.
And probably more than sports, with everything we got going on in our world right now, it sounds like it is a must read. It's called Our Team. Bobby, the only other thing I wanted to bring up this week is Shane Bieber. And I hate to save it to the last because he is really so good right now and he deserves top billing. But Bieber is off to another strong start again this year. He's in the record books now. He's almost unhittable. You've seen this guy. I saw him here down here at Canal Park. It seems like yesterday, but it was about 4 or 5 seasons ago. He's so mature on the mound. I know he picked a lot up from some of those leaders in the clubhouse, but talk about our ace right-hander, Shane Bieber, Bobby.
Yeah, remarkable growth and development. As you said, you got to see him in the minors. That's one of the beauties of having the rubber ducks and the captains, and obviously the Clippers so nearby that everybody can say, I saw him when they were, really wide-eyed and young and just feeling their way and finding out who they are. Shane Bieber, it's interesting, Ray. We all know, every time he pitches, Sudden Sam McDowell and Bob Feller and Nolan Ryan and Randy Johnson are always by Hammy and Rosie and the TV guys because he's just setting this record or that record with strikeouts. Here's the ironic thing about all that. He's trying to figure out how to lessen his number of strikeouts, even though he continues to strike out 10 plus a game or so. He's trying to figure out how to just minimize the number of pitches he's throwing and get guys out early in the count. and not throw as many pitches so he can get deeper into games. And so that's going to be the next maturation to see what's going on with him. But there's a guy who's just commands the strike zone with a number of different pitches. Just an absolute treat. I think he's 17-7 in games started after an Indians loss. I mean, and that's what I talked about. That's the definition of an ace, is getting your team back into the win column. But this young man, just an absolute treat to watch. And as you know, he continues to grow and develop. For example, this offseason, just working on different pitches. What can he add to his repertoire to keep hitters off balance? I just remember back, we just talked about how do you get that ground ball on the second pitch of an inning on a hitter you can dominate, so that you don't have to throw 3, 4, 5 pitches to a guy. And Bob Feller used to sit in our clubhouse and talk to CC Sabathia and Cliff Lee and those guys, even prior to those guys, when Bob would get in uniform at spring training. And he'd talk about, he goes, hey, if I knew, and he was a strikeout pitcher himself, he goes, if I knew strikeouts were that big a deal, the bottom of the order that I used to get through in 6 pitches, because, I'd make them hit a dribbler to Boudreaux or Joe Gordon. I could easily struck them out, but I didn't want to waste the pitches on them. And so he talked, philosophy with guys. How do you get rid of a batter early in fewer pitches? And as we sit here and talk, that's what Shane Bieber is focused on. Means he's pretty damn good.
There you go. Hey, Bobby, brought to you by NECA-IBEW. We love these visits. It's available for you, Facebook page, our YouTube channel, WAKR.net. My friend, thank you for the visit again. We'll reconvene in a week. Longest homestand of the season for our Indians. Go get them and check them out at Progressive Field. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Ray. See you at the ballpark. Take care. Go try.
Very good. Excellent, Bobby. That was a great show.
That was fun. Thank you.
Hey, don't forget, I'll be there Monday. I'll send you a text, okay?
Yeah, please do.
All right.
All right, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye.